rest of it, I've heard that this play is quite hilarious. And
This guy, I mean, what a hoot. I heard he was making people cry in the last play he was in, but now he's just cracking us up.
Yes, I do remember David.
Welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter, the BSP podcast all about Butterfield.
Hello and welcome to Butterfield Backstage Banter. I am your host, Jessica DeMent, and today I am joined by my guests, Karina Cabreja-Cox.
Hello.
And David Crane.
Hi, everyone.
Thank y'all for joining me today. Karina and David are a couple of the actors in our upcoming main stage show, Death by Golf. Before we start talking about the show, can y'all tell our audience a little bit about your theater background?
Sure, I'll go first since I will take the shortest amount of time. My theater background, other than my mom taking me to see Broadway plays when I was younger, because I grew up in New York, is zero. I have no theater background at all. But in the 7th grade, I had a solo in a play that I was in, and I got a standing ovation, and I've never felt more alive. So then when I saw that there were auditions, I thought, man, I got to get back on that stage. So that's it.
That's great,
David.
Short and sweet. Before coming and moving to Gainesville, I had some time in high school. That was many years ago. We're not going to count that many years. And until I moved into Gainesville, I never thought about it until riding my bike with my wife. And she goes, "You should go there and audition." And I did back in 2023 and performed in the one performance here called A Nice Family Gathering. It was a blast. I loved it. Then I got involved with Butterfield doing front of house and just looking for any part that I think would be interesting. And then that's what I go for, and I try to audition for it.
Wonderful. And for this show, Death by Golf, can y'all each tell me what character you're playing and whether or not you relate to your character?
Okay, so I play the character of Ashley, and Ashley is quite gullible and naive and quite impulsive. And so I relate to her in some ways and not so much in others. I think she gets herself into sticky situations because of the decisions that she makes. She doesn't think them all the way through. But I can relate to her in that she tries to see the good in people and she's very family oriented. So yes and no.
In this play, I play the part of Grandpa. And Grandpa is kind of a good-hearted guy that, he's not as, and the definition of it was befuddled as he may seem. And and I relate to that. That's me. A lot of people, they say don't judge a book by their cover, and that's me. So I relate in that way. Not to mention I am a grandfather myself, fixing to be a great grandfather. So.
And what have some of the challenges been that you've faced with this show, either as an actor or from a production standpoint?
Wow, that's a great question. I think learning how to stand on the stage in a way where you are staying open to the audience is something that you always have to keep in mind. And I had no idea that that was a thing prior to this experience, but it's been really fun learning all those little nuances that you wouldn't otherwise think about when you're watching a play. But that's really cool. And it's been interesting to learn all those little things. How about you, Grandpa?
I think one of the challenges would be getting into a character where you have to, in my case, slow down. A lot of people ask me, why do because I go 100 miles an hour in real life. In this one, I have to slow down a little bit. I have to walk like a more elderly person and stuff like that. So it's just not my nature to be slow. And so I have to slow down a little bit. And the same thing with just what Karina was talking about is learning that you want everyone in the audience, even that person on the very last row, to be able to hear you and to get the message that your character is trying to portray and trying to give out to.
Absolutely. Well, I do have to say that I appreciate the mindfulness of those types of things because, like Karina was saying, that's something that you don't really think about when you're in the audience, but it definitely makes or breaks a show when it is or isn't done. So I'm glad to hear that y'all are being mindful of that and working on that while you're also working on all the rest of it. I've heard that this play is quite hilarious. And
This guy, I mean, what a hoot. I hear he was making people cry in the last play he was in, but now he's just cracking us up.
Yes, yes. I do remember David making people cry in a nice family gathering. That was a good show. That was definitely a fun one to be in. And what have some of the highlights of this process been for you so far?
You go first, David.
I think one really neat highlight is the different and the demographics of who we interact with. And I mean, there was like 8 of us in the last play, and in this one, there's only 4 of us. But each one of us has our own unique personality and unique way of looking at things. And it's really enhanced us as a group to be able to take off of each other the way that each other feeds the energy.
I'll say that what I said was a challenge has also been a highlight, and also kind of getting close to the other actors, I think, is a process that just naturally happens when you're with someone going through lines. You have to kind of build some sort of chemistry and a dynamic with them. And so that it makes it feel like a safe space, number one. Number two, you're like learning all these cool new things, which, I mean, if you've been an actor a few times in a few plays, you know all these things, but just your movement, the way your body moves can send a completely different message. You can make something more funny. You can enhance something to be more dramatic than what it originally was. And I'm just wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, Jessica. I am just taking it all in and enjoying every single step of it.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much, especially from somebody who's been doing theater for decades now myself, to hear somebody new in theater who is just soaking that up. That's exciting for me because I always love when people understand the nuance of theater and start falling in love with it because of all those things. But it's also exciting for me as a board member for community theater, because that's one of the goals of community theater, is to be that opportunity for people who've never done theater before to come in and learn and find this new hobby and interest and passion. And, hopefully this is going to spark something in you that's going to bring you back for many more shows.
Oh, you're not going to be able to get rid of me, Jessica.
Well, we love it. We love it. So, let's see here. Do either of you have a funny story or a win about the process so far that you'd like to share with our audience?
What, David?
Well, I've never been one for golf, but this is going to be interesting in the fact of what all I get to do and how I get to do it with the game of golf. I'll just say that. And it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
I second that.
Sounds great. Now I'm even more intrigued to see the show. And speaking of seeing the show, to wrap up, can each of y'all tell our audience why you think they definitely need to come and see this show?
Well, number one is because if you don't come, I will cry. But number two is because David here as Grandpa, I mean, he is so funny. The comedy is top notch. The drama is fast paced and hard hitting. It's so good. I'm not just saying it because I'm in it, but Jace is phenomenal at directing us. It's just going to be amazing. All right, I'll shut up now. You go, David.
I was told to say I'll cry too, but I'm not going to say that. I'll whimper. I'll whimper a little bit. But no, the main thing is to come out and have fun, not just because it's a community theater, but it's part of our city. And Gainesville is a great town and a great city to live in. And this is just one small part that makes us unique from some of the other cities around us, that we do have this type of theater and this opportunities to present that to our community.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, thank y'all so much for joining me today. Y'all heard it from David and Karina. Make sure to get your tickets to see the show. We don't want to make Karina cry at her stage debut or make David whimper. That, I feel like that's even more tragic than people crying. So let's not let that happen. Come out and support your community theater. Come and enjoy what Gainesville has to offer through Butterfield for a night of entertainment. Tickets are available now at our box office, or at our box office or online. All of the information will be in the text box below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Share this video with all of your friends. Invite your friends to come to the theater with you, and we'll see you at the theater. Bye.
Thank you for joining us. For more information, please visit butterfieldstage.org.